Blessings and welcome to today's Law Enforcement Daily Devotional. Today was a different kind of read and a different kind of study. We were in Ezekiel chapters 37, 38, and 39, and there are some incredible visions that Ezekiel gets from God. The dry bones in the valley that God puts sinews and flesh and skin on, and he raises the people of Israel who are in total despair and hopelessness because they've been exiled. But Ezekiel gives them this vision from God that God will raise the children of Israel back up and bring them back into their land. Then he goes into this vision of these two sticks. There's the nation of Israel and there's the nation of Judah. And God tells Ezekiel to pick up two dead sticks and put them together, and the sticks become one living branch. And he says, you will be one nation, and you will have one king, and you will have one shepherd. And I truly believe, as most people do, that one king is Jesus Christ, because he says, my servant David will rule over them. And by that he means the line of David, the promised king. And the last in the line of David was Jesus, and he will be the king, and he is the good shepherd. We know that. We read that in John chapter 10, where he talks about being the good shepherd. So, it's these incredible prophecies that go from Old Testament into New Testament times. And you can spend days, weeks, months studying just chapter 37, and I almost got sucked up into some of it. I found myself reading a bunch of stuff this morning and just going on and enjoying it, but realizing that there was way too much to put into even an 8-minute video, which is, I think, some of the longest ones I've done, and I don't want to do that to you today. But then chapter 38 and 39 talk about this invasion. It's kind of this end time prophecy where Israel is attacked by this huge nation of the north. And again, reading commentaries and things this morning, there are so many different opinions. One is that this is not a literal prophecy of a nation coming down and attacking Israel. Others say it is a literal prophecy. Some equate Gog with Germany, which I don't understand, whatever. But most of them equate it with the great nation of the north, which would be Russia, and that Russia is the one that leads the attack on Israel. But I had made some notes in another Bible from years past that I looked at, and of all the things I read today, that's more convincing. In chapter 38, he says, Meshesh and Tubal. Well, these two names are descendants from Japheth, who was one of the three sons of Noah. And anyway, it traces everything back, but also it takes that Japheth line of the people that attack Israel, but it also takes that Shem line that leads up into David, into Jesus. And it is a very interesting note. Genesis 10:2 and 1 Chronicles 1:5, if you're interested in looking at how those fit into the prophecy. But with all the books that are written and all the commentaries on these three chapters, the one thing that remains the same, that nobody disputes, is that at the end of this story, God wins. He restores his people. Christ reigns supreme. And that's how the book of Revelation ends. I mean, we know how the book starts. We know how the book ends because we've read the book. And if you hadn't read the book, we're going through the book, and I'm just, spoiler alert, God wins. Christianity and Israel is restored into this great nation that Jesus rules forever. It's heaven. It's salvation. It's awesome. So, but just because I'm making this a short video, by no means disqualifies it from just great investigation and great study, because you will have a ball if you get in and start studying 37, 38, and 39. And I hope you do. I hope you have time for that. Tomorrow we're going to be in Ezekiel chapter, we're going to go backwards, chapter 32, read all of 32, then read chapter 33 up to verse 20 and then stop. And then go over to Daniel and read chapter 3. Daniel's got a lot of prophecy about end times too. So we're getting into some really fun, rich, deep study. But I hope you read ahead. Come back here tomorrow. Let's see if we can find some takeaways for life or takeaways from law enforcement or both. In the meantime, you guys be safe.